Hey, coaches, welcome to another presentation for the Football Scoop Online Clinic. This afternoon, we have Virginia State Offensive Coordinator Toriano Morgan joining us to talk some tips for offensive play callers and making the case for and providing some insight on scripting your first 20 plays. So, Coach Morgan, it's all yours, man.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you. I want to thank Football Scoop for allowing me to have this opportunity. To everyone out there watching, I hope everyone's safe, hunkered down, quarantined in these unprecedented times, and just doing what we're asked to do so we can get through this unscathed. So keeping everyone in our prayers that we get through this and we come out better on the other side. So my presentation today, just to kind of tell you a little bit about myself before we get into it. Being in the coaching profession over 20 years, 17 years as a position coach, spent 12 years as a coordinator, going into my 13th year as a coordinator, 1 year as a head coach at Dillard High School in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And, it's been a very, 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 very tedious and climbing task to get to where I am today, but I wouldn't have changed anything about it. Learned a lot of life lessons along the way, a lot of coaching experiences. And one of those experiences is what I hope to impart on you today. And that's about now, you're the play caller. You're the play caller. Scripting your first 20 plays and what should be some of the ingredients in those 20 plays. First off, I want to start, no one does it by themselves. So I want to give a salute to, firstly, our head coach, Coach Reggie Barlow, for entrusting me with the offense to make sure that things run smoothly, make sure that we're servicing our young student athletes in the manner in which they deserve to be served. But to the staff, I want to give them a shout out because they work tirelessly, diligently to ensure that they do their part. So I want to say thank you to our offensive line coach, Coach Tremaine Watson, Coach Andrew King, who works with our H-backs, our sniffers and tight ends, Coach Sims, who works with our receivers, Coach Harris, who does an outstanding job with our running backs, and Coach Henson, our student assistant, assisting with our quarterbacks. Virginia State University, we had a very, very good year offensively last year. We averaged over 405 yards a game. We finished 8-2. We had some very good feats as far as running the football and passing the football. Running the football was one of our highlights. We finished 18th in the country in rushing, averaging over 275 yards a game. Now, how scripting tied into all of this? When we scored on the first drive of the game or the first drive of the second half, in 7 games, in those 7 games, we were undefeated. We were 7-0. So we found that there was a direct correlation to us getting started fast at the beginning of both halves. We found out when we got started fast offensively in both halves, we had great success at the end of the game with that coming with us, of course, getting the W, winning the football game. So we'll talk a little bit today about why scripting plays. Why do we script plays? We script plays, one, to eliminate anxiety of plays. Once we script our plays, we run our script with our guys. We run the script and we run it again. It gives the ability for the kids and the student athletes now to know or have an idea of exactly what's coming next. When they can know what's coming next, they say an informed mind is a better mind. It takes away the anxiety of the plays. So they hear a sequence of plays, they know exactly what's coming next, and they're able now to eliminate anxiety and move into a place of execution. And you will see that the execution will definitely be a lot cleaner when your guys know exactly what's coming. Once you look at your scripts, it gets the ball in the hands of the guys that know what to do with it. You always want to make sure that in your scripting plays to get the ball in your playmakers' hands. So once you script, you're able to now dictate not only when, how, and how many times you want to get the ball into certain players' hands so you can have better success with the plays because you've ID'd them as your key playmakers that get things done. Next, you want to establish, it helps you establish your identity early. If you want to go into a football game saying, oh, I want to run the ball, I want to impose my will running the football. If you want to go in and say, we want to throw it around the park for the next 3.5 hours, scripting gives you the ability to do that and do it in a strategic manner to where you get the highest bang for your buck as far as plays, high percentage plays, creating first downs, setting up other plays, etc. So, it gives you an opportunity to be able to set your identity very early. And if you want to attack defenses in a certain manner, you've done the film work during the week. You see opportunities to where you can exploit not only matchups, but exploit a specific defense in a specific situation. It will give you the opportunity to create that opportunity as well. And then at the end of it, we want to score points. So scripting will give you the opportunity to put your explosive plays where they need to be, set up off a certain plays that you've run, a certain run concept or a certain pass concept to bring in the play action and be explosive and ultimately put points on the board. Now, when we talk about scripting, there is no right way and no wrong way to create a script. What I found is the script should identify or be as close to the play caller's personality or work with the play caller in the manner in which he likes to call plays, the matter in which he likes to get the plays in order conceptually. So just a matter of the ID or the identity of the play caller and what works for him, as well as it matches the identity of the strengths of your offense as far as what you do well, whether it's running the football or whether it's passing the football. What are the ingredients that we like to use as far as putting in our 20-play script? We'll start off this presentation while we'll start talking about our staff responsibilities and breakdowns and how that relates to the 20-play script. Formations, what we like to do with our formations in our 20-play script. Motions, how we like to incorporate different motion shifts and jumps and why. Our shot plays, taking shots down the field, how early and how often. Our special plays, our screens and draws, and our play action. So these are all ingredients that we like to incorporate into our 20-play script. And we're going to talk about a little bit of each one of them. We'll start with our staff responsibility. Each one of the staff members that we spoke of earlier has a specific situation that they are asked to become the expert in. It doesn't change week to week. It might be first down, control down, running defense, blitzes, et cetera, et cetera. However you decide to break it down. So for us, we all study personnel, scheme, emphasis, all of that's given. Then we work on our control down run game by formation on control downs, our control down protections by formations, and our control down passing by formations. So we get good in that and we develop a menu based on this specific situation. And ultimately this specific situation begins to be the blueprint to where the 20-play script is derived. Now we start to talk about our third down and our red zone menu. That's in addition to the 20-play script. And we'll talk a little bit more in depth about that as well. And then something I think we do that's a little unique is we get 5 plays from our starting quarterback as well as 5 plays from our backup quarterback. Now, what these 5 plays serve as is, one, you might like 5 plays that you're incorporating into your script and you think that they're good. The 5 plays that the quarterbacks are going to give you ultimately is what the quarterback is saying. These are 5 plays that I'm comfortable with. So we want to ensure that in a perfect world that what we have as the 20-play script versus what we get from the quarterback in his 5 plays are somewhere around 80 to 90% in sync already. Also, if we ever get into a specific situation in a game where we get off schedule or we need to get our quarterback back, the opportunity to gain his composure, we now have 5 plays that we know he's comfortable with, that he can execute, and we can get us back on schedule. Now it serves as the backup quarterback if at any point in the game, unannounced, and he has to just be inserted, we now have a starting point for him. We know that we can use these 5 plays that he was comfortable with, and now we can get him rolling. Now, once we got him comfortable into the groove of the game, now we can get back on schedule as far as the game plan is concerning for that week. So that's something I think unique that we do, and it's paid off dividends for us. Now, as we talked about the script, Formations. We love formations, and we think the formation piece is a very, very big part of our script, our game plan. If you look at film on us and you start as a defensive coach and you put the film in, the one thing we want you to say is, how are we going to defend all of these formations? So going into any given week, we're going to have a minimum of 13 different formations. Formations gives us an opportunity to create matchups that we like. It gives us the opportunity to get a personnel grouping that we might like on the field. It might give us an opportunity to now take advantage of leverage on the perimeter in the run game. So it has great value being able to have 13 different formations that we're able to get to. Next, we show formations that we haven't seen or shown before in film. If you're scouting us, we want to bring an element of surprise, a formation that you haven't seen, causing the defense now to have to make an adjustment on the run and spend time now on the sideline trying to adjust to something that they may or they may not see again, depending on how successful we were. We want to utilize our formations to identify exploitable matchups. When we get specific personnel groupings on the field, we want to ensure that we get the matchups that we like, that we saw through our film study, and that we're now able to take advantage early of these matchups based on having the formation that we were anticipating getting a specific defense. And the last piece of the formation, it confirms our film study. What we saw on film versus what we're getting, confirming if they've made any adjustments, if they've tweaked their game plan, they tweaked their identity in any type of way as a defense, formations and having a lot of different formations will confirm that. Motions is the next piece of our script that we like to have as far as ingredient wise. Motion causes emotion. Hall of Fame coach, Coach Joe Taylor, uses a very, very dynamic analogy to express this. If you can go with me on this analogy, if you walk into your house, you walk in, you unlock your door, you have a table next to your door, you set your keys down next to the door, you walk into the house, you take care of your business, you eat, you do what you need to do. Now it's time for you to go. Get back in your car. You go exactly back to the place where you left your keys and they're not there. Your first reaction is an emotional reaction. Even if the keys have just been moved 5 feet over to a different table, you had an emotional reaction. This is the exact reaction that motion causes on defenses. So when the defensive coaches go in their game plan and they see a specific formation and they think they've ID'd what may be coming, and then you get a jump or a shift or a motion out of it, the guys on the field, their first reaction is now an emotional reaction, because now they've got to rethink everything that they were trained to think during the week and make the right and necessary, and not only necessary, the correct adjustment on the fly. So having motion will definitely uncover some opportunities. It will show you some opportunities down the field that you may have, or some matchup exploitations that you're able to take advantage of. You want to have some pre-snap shifts and jumps. Once again, it does the same thing. If you have a strength predicated defense, it will change the strength. Once again, that changes roughly everything for at least the first and second level of the defense. So you want to always keep defenses thinking uneasy and off balance. And how much motion do you want to have? It's up to you. Sometimes we just put regular window dressing on it just to make sure that we're being honest on the second and the third level. So the motion that you want to have is basically up to you as far as how much. Our rule of thumb is we want to have motion at least every 3 plays. So every 3 plays, we want to have some type of shift, some type of motion, pre-snap, just to make sure that, you know, we're keeping defenses honest and causing them to make sure that they're defending the entire play, both pre-snap and post-snap. Take your shots. When should you take your shots? Incorporating your shots into your 20-play script, you like to get them in early. So when should you take your shot? I would say early and often. For us, we're going to take a shot within the first 5 to 10 plays. Bet your bottom dollar is coming. One is create an explosive play. We get into a formation we like. We get the matchup we like. We're going to take the shot. Also, even if it's incomplete, We slow the secondary down. We let those perimeter cornerbacks know, listen, today is not your day to come get involved in this run game. Not today. Stay back, stay way back. So again, it'll help you in your run game as well. And also taking your shots is not just taking vertical shots down the field, your special plays. We practice our special plays just like we practice our inside zone. Once again, if it works, it's great. If it doesn't, it's just another play. There's no anxiety. The anxiety has been taken away from it. So when do you want to run your special plays? Because the key is you have to run your special play first. So we try to get our special play in early into the top part of the script so we can create an explosive play, we can get momentum, and we get the ball rolling. With your explosive plays or your special plays, we try to look at making sure that we have 2 going into every week. We're not naive enough to know that our defense, the defense that we'll be facing, is not watching film as well. So we'll give a special play off a tendency that we feel like they may have picked up on or taken away. For us, this past season, it was running the football. So everything that we did, we would always have a special play off of running the football. Then as we progress down our 20-play script, as we build on our 20-play script, as we begin to get to the climax of the 20-play script, we're working on that special play to get to that. So 1, we like to take a shot off an obvious tendency. And 2, as we build on the 20-play script, we like to build a special play off of that as well. Where does our play action and screens come in your 20-play script, and why? First thing in your 20-play script, it slows the defense and puts the defense into conflict. If you get blitzed, you automatically have an answer. You don't have to go to the specific part of the script that you may have and look for an answer. You have the answer built in somewhere in your first 20-play script. Now, we'll talk about a little later about the flexibility of the 20-play script and how flexible you can be with it. And also the play action and screens that push your defense in conflict. It provides also an immediate possibility for pressure. Once again, if you're getting pressured, you don't have to go looking for answers. You have the answer right there. And again, it complements your run game. If you've been having success running the football, bringing in play action into your script keeps defenses honest. And once again, it's all about taking that shot down the field, being explosive. It gives you another opportunity to take a shot down the field. Okay, so we'll get into now in potatoes of scripting. These are some of the common questions that we get as it talks about scripting. How married to your script should you be? That just depends on, once again, you as a play caller. For me, scripting serves as a roadmap for me. There have been games where we've gotten from play 1 to play 18 on the script, and everything has kind of worked in succession. But again, once you get to a specific spot on the script and you see something's working, you run that particular portion of the script until they stop it. For example, if we get to play 4 and we run inside zone and we get a 25-yard gain and we don't see any adjustments have been made and we are on the football, we're not going to move to play 5. We're going to run play 4 again, inside zone. And we're going to run play 4 or a variation of play 4 out of a different look, out of a different formation until it has been proven that you can stop it. So we're not definitely married to the play or running the play just because it's the next particular play. It's about being able to be productive. Now, once the adjustment is made and play 4 is no longer good, then we pick back up. So it serves more so as a roadmap. Now, the age-old question, what gets you off your script versus situation? Again, we use the script to begin to get us rolling. Now, of course, if we're in a 3rd and 1 and play 5 is a 4 verts, of course, we're going to go to a different section of our script because we have our script, actually the 20-play script, and then we have situational broken down by down, broken down by red zone, goal line, et cetera, et cetera. So situation precedes the script. So we want to make sure that we have the best play call in that situation, and we're not going to call a play on the script just because it says it's on the script. We can always come back to the script. So if we get a 3rd and 1, of course, we're going to go with a particular play that we feel comfortable with on 3rd and 1. And then once we successfully convert that 3rd down, then we'll get back on script. How many plays should be on your script? Well, again, that's up to you as the play caller. We use 20 plays because, again, 20 plays gives us a very, very good chunk of the ball game of things that we can always get to, we can always get back to. The flow of the game is going to predicate it. Now, also at different levels, I would not suggest at the high school level that you use a 20-play script. I would be somewhere between 8 plays to 12 plays. I think that would give you two good drives to kind of see where you are, kind of impose your will, get what you're trying to establish, and go from there, just due to the fact that they're 12-minute quarters. So I think anywhere between 8 plays to 12 plays would be more than enough at the high school level. Now, is 20 at the college level etched in stone? Absolutely not. I know guys that use 15 plays. I know guys that use 5 plays. So it's just a matter of how you call plays and what works for you. 20 for me, again, once we get to different situations, if we don't get down to the 20 play script, or we get hot and we get rolling and now the momentum is kind of settled, it gives us an opportunity to get back to the script. So that way we always have something that we can go to. And again, it's something that you've run and you've practiced, and your players are comfortable with it. So, they know it. Who should give input on the script? Well, we collectively come together at the beginning of the week and we kind of script in reverse. So, we'll put together what we like, what we would like to run, and then that what we like and what we would like to run becomes what we can and what we will run. So definitely we get input at the beginning of the week, from our O-line coach, our receiver coach, our running back coach, as to, what we think will be good. I'm definitely open to listening to the assistant coaches, because again, once, they feel like they have, or they do have, skin in the game, they're going to coach it harder. They're going to coach it a little bit harder. So, that's always a plus to have. So, just at the beginning of the week, we come together on our Monday meeting, and we talk about what we like. And then from that point on, we script down. And then ultimately at the end of the week, we put together the 20-play script. What day should your script be completed? For me, I like to have the script done on Thursday afternoon. Back when I was offensive coordinator at a high school, I used to get the script done maybe 5 hours before game time, because I'm still steady trying to put this in, still trying to put that in. And what I found, as I got older, as young coach then, that probably wasn't the best practice. And if that's kind of what you're doing now, just kind of start to get it done a little earlier. Getting it done a little earlier does a lot of things. Once, it gives us the opportunity to run our script. So from Thursday to game time, we've run the script at least 5 times. With running it from 5 times, we've met on it and put it on film versus the defense that we're anticipating seeing in every meeting from that standpoint. And also, as a play caller, our head coach, Coach Barlow, uses a great term. He says, things that you love, you spend time with. As a play caller, you got to spend time with that call sheet, playing it out just the same way you're asking the kids to have cybernetics as far as seeing the game. You've got to play it out with that call sheet yourself. So with that, I try to have it done, or I have it done on Thursday afternoon. We get it walked through. We get it in walkthrough. We get a chance to walk through it. We get a chance to meet on it. And then from that, what we find is, they go out on Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening, and they're able to execute it because, again, I'm a firm believer when they know what's coming, it eliminates the anxiety and it helps increase the level of execution. If everything is scripted, then how are your adjustments made? Well, again, that just goes back to the first question of how married to the script are you? At some point, you've got to be able to understand. You got to call what you see. If you're looking on your script and you're absolutely seeing that they're doing something totally different, then you got to have an answer for it. If they're blatantly not covering the number one or the number two receiver, then you got to exploit that. And if it's not on the script, you don't run the script just for the sake of saying I have this script and I did the script, because again, you can always come back to the script. But call what you see. When you call what you see, there's opportunities that you'll get some shots and get some points on the board as well, from that standpoint as well. Now, just a sample call sheet here, guys. This is old verbiage that doesn't work, but just to throw that out there. But this is an example of a call sheet of what it might look like. Again, it may look intimidating to some of you, but again, understand that this has been a call sheet that I've been using for years. So again, I spend time with it. I know it, and pretty much basically, I know where every section of the call sheet is. When it's time to come off of it and call what I see, I know how to get right back on it. But just an example of what our first 20 plays may look like on the script, just to give you an idea. If you're looking, we have all 20 plays scripted by personnel grouping. We have it scripted by the left hash, by the right hash. If we get in the middle of the field, a few times that we will get in the middle of the field, we'll naturally run the play to the best side that we feel will have the most success. So of course we have the highlighted plays that will be passes in gold, and we have the white runs in white. So that kind of keeps us level. So this is what a copy of our 20 play script might look like. Now, let's say we were to get to play 4. We've just been using play 4 as an example. And play 4, we have this particular play on, and let's say it converts to, let's say, a first down that we didn't anticipate getting, a first and long. So now we'll come off of this script, and this would be the 1st and 10 specific script that we'll have. So what you'll see where it's by each situation. And once again, by pass in the goal, by white in the about dedicating the runs. Now at the top of it, we'll insert there, we'll key in there the percentage of blitz. Then that's basically again done by our film breakdown, our film study, our reports that have been run, analysis, analytics, all that good stuff. So there would be a number there, and the plays that I would input on there would be plays that acknowledge that in this particular situation, they blitz 40% of the time, they blitz 30% of the time. Or if we want to get a good matchup, listen, this is the percentage of man coverage that they're playing in this particular situation. So maybe 2nd and 1 and 4, they might be, for whatever reason, 60% man. Let's take a shot down the field. So, it just kind of helps you work through that again. Now, once again, this is not information that is processed in the press box as the game is going. A lot of core of this stuff I spend time with, and, like I said, I get it on Thursday, go through it, and, you have an idea of what you like to run. Now, as intimidating, again, I hope as it may look, understand that a lot of the situational plays, again, are simply plays that were in the first 20, and we just broke them out into specific situations that, those plays would, again, give us the opportunity to be successful at. Now, here's again, now if we were to get into our third down situation, this is exactly what it would look like. Now, as we start to talk about the red zone, a lot of conversation with scripting is coming here. Now, when you get into the red zone, what happens? Well, we do have our red zone game plan when we get in the red zone based on what we see, because we know at some particular time, something's going to change. During our film study, we identify when that change is going to happen. Some defensive coordinators, their tendency is to change it at the 20-yard lines. Some defensive coordinators will wait until the 15-yard line. Some defensive coordinators are stubborn. They'll say, hey, We're not going to change until we get to the 10-yard line. So once you identify what that defense's tendencies are as to when they change, whether it's they change the defense, they begin to blitz a lot more, they go to man coverage, whatever it is, that's how we build our red zone script. Now, one would say, and I would be a proponent of it as well, if it was good enough to get you down here to the 20-yard line, should it not be good enough to get you in the end zone? I definitely agree. So again, a lot of the plays that you will see in our red zone will be high percentage plays that we run in our 20-play script, that based on what we've seen on film and when that particular change comes in the red zone, that we insert. So it doesn't make us have to practice a million different plays. We might tweak it here, tweak it there, run it out of a different formation. But again, we're trying to now get the ball in the end zone. What keeps us from getting the ball in the end zone? Anxiety. So we want to eliminate anxiety, knowing what we got in the red zone. So when we practice our red zone script, we run our red zone script just like we run our 20-play script. And, you know, the plays don't necessarily in the red zone come in a specific succession, but there is a menu of plays in the red zone that are scripted that we do run, and they know that can come out of any time. Now, when we get into the money zone, what we consider the money zone inside the 5-yard line, we're going to use the best plays to get the ball across that line. So, you know, it becomes grit at that point. Okay. Moving into the second half, should you have a second half script? Well, we actually develop our second half script through the beginning of the first half or through the first half. First thing we're going to have is we always save something for in our game plan. We always save something for the second half. So when we're game planning and we like something, we're always going to say, hey, listen, second half, this is what we're going to come out with. It's a different look, a different scheme or something. We save something for the second half that you haven't seen to help us be successful with the second half as far as jump starting the offense or keep the offense moving. Now, if it's broke, don't fix it. If you go down your chart in the first half and you find out that you've run inside zone 8 times and you've gained 7 or better yards every time, inside zone probably should be at the top of your second half script. If you've thrown a vertical and an out concept and you've completed it 4 times and you've gotten 4 first downs on it, that probably should be at the top of your second half script. So basically what I'm telling you is trust your data. What you've seen that was successful in the first half, not what you would like to do in the second half. Trust your data. Trust what has been working. Then dress it up formationally and execute it from that manner. Because if it's working there, yes, you'll find out really, really soon or real early in the second half if an adjustment has been made to it. And again, if adjustment has been made to it, you'll know how to counter it. So again, trust your data. And don't force anything that's not working. Again, don't force a round peg into a square hole. If it's not working, scrap it. You got 30 minutes left of football. So in that 30 minutes, you've got to have the best plays to be able to put forth to be able to pull out the win in that football game. And then again, last but certainly not least for that second half script, continue to find a way to get the ball into your playmakers' hands. Have a plan with that. So that's just, you know, my philosophy, my thinking on having a second half script and how to get to the second half script. So in conclusion, we want to talk about evaluating your first 20 plays. Expect what you inspect. And what that simply means is run the first 20 plays of your script, run your script, and run your script some more. The better you get at it, you will see it'll have tremendous dividends and pay off tremendous dividends on Friday nights and Saturday afternoons. Not only does it help the particular part of executing the play, from a coaching standpoint, it helps the operation from sideline. With the get back coach, it will help the get back coach because now when the guys hear the script and they're tuned in and they know what's going and they know what's coming, they put themselves in position because they know If I'm in, or my formation group or my personnel grouping is in on play 7, they're going to stand back. But when you get to play 6, they'll position themselves. So now you don't have to go looking for individuals. And also just the entire operation, however you may do it, from getting personnel into the game, to getting it signaled, to getting the play called, to getting lined up to run it, it will clean that process up tremendously. An informed mind is a better mind. Motion. Make sure, again, motion causes emotion for the defense. It makes them emotional. So we want to try to make sure that you put motion on every three plays. Formation, show some formations. Again, for us, it's 13. At the high school level, I would definitely say anywhere from 7 formations in those 12 plays. And what I would dictate as a different formation, if you line up 2 by 2 and then your motion to 3 by 1, that dictates as a motion and a different formation. So you get both of those in that particular realm. Your special plays. Guys, the keys to your special plays in your script, have them early. Use yours first. If the other team uses theirs first, there's a great percentage that yours is not going to work because everybody's now on notice and they're looking for it. So make sure you get your special plays up there early in the game. Consider having one off of what might be a tendency that you've shown, and then have one building off the script or the game plan that you've put together to build off of that for your climax of that particular script. Your shots, use them early, use them often. The name of the game is moving the ball down the field and putting it in the end zone. At worst, losing it early. It lets, again, that defensive backfield know, don't get involved in this run game today. To help keep them at bay and help you get a little bit more leverage on the perimeter for your outside zones or your outside run plays. Include just some screens, some play action, and most importantly, get the ball in the man's hands that knows what to do with it. And also keep count of it. So once you finish your 20-play script, what I do is I go back to play 1. And the guys that we have deemed or considered our playmakers, we actually keep tabs on how many times they're touching the ball, when they're touching the ball, and how they're touching the ball. We want to make sure that we get the ball in those guys' hands that can move that scoreboard. So at the end, I hope I was able to assist you guys, and y'all guys found this to be very helpful in scripting plays, clearing things up. And again, there's no right way or no wrong way to script your plays. It's just based on your personality as a play caller, what you're trying to accomplish as a play caller, and how you call plays. But what I found is that using this particular formula here has helped to increase our production on our first drive of the first game of the game and our first drive of the second half. And with that being said, we found that there's a direct correlation. When we score first on the first drive of either half, we win football games. So with that being said, I want to thank Football Scoop for allowing me to share with you guys, and definitely my contact information I'll go back to. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to call me, email me, tweet me, at your discretion.
Oh, there it is. All right, I see it. Hey, had a couple questions for you, Coach. Where'd you really buy into the scripting philosophy? Is that something that you came up under as an assistant? Is it something you learned at a clinic, or something you tried and really kind of gravitated to? What's the background behind it?
Actually, I've kind of evolved. I was a free caller when I first started calling plays, just basically calling what I see. I would have a script, but what I found was I wasn't really using the script. And now we're talking about my early years as a high school coordinator. And what I found was there were things I would look on the script that I wasn't able to get to, because now you're free calling, you got a lot of things going through your mind. And you're not at your best at your particular point. Now, it was camouflaged because we were scoring a lot of points, but doing self-evaluation, was that the best practice? So with that being said, as I moved to the college game, the first couple years definitely was a free caller, a little bit more dependent on the script. But then once again, when I saw being able to now script the success that we had on the first drives, the tempo that I wasn't losing, because that was the biggest thing. I was afraid that we weren't going to be as fast as I would have liked for everyone to be as far as tempo. So I didn't want to compromise that. But when I saw that if it was rehearsed in practice, if it was running as the script was done, it actually got faster. I had a quarterback by the name of Shaheem Dowdy that would actually somewhat memorize the entire script. So he would spend time with it, and he'd get it on Friday night, and on Saturday, he had a phenomenal year that 2015 year, 2016 year, because he knew what was coming, and he was kind of able to now move it. It cleaned up the operation on the sideline as far as, again, signaling plays, getting the personnel, which probably in turn made us a lot faster than when we were. So it was trial and error. And when I got to this point of actually finding the comfort level with this particular formula, it's worked. So I've stuck with it.
It's just kind of the evolution of a play caller, really. It sounds
right.
Like. Well, yeah, that's interesting. So in your staff responsibility sheet, you talked about control downs. What do you define as control downs?
We define first and second down as our control downs. Again, if we get a penalty or whatever and we get into a first and long, now that becomes more situational. But a control down, first down, second down, where the playbook is open, we can do what we do best. That's what we define as a control down.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. Do you see any drawbacks to scripting your plays? And so, I mean, you're really pretty flexible in terms of coming off it when you need to. And, there's some guys out there that have a 10-play script and they're running it no matter what, where the ball is, because they got things they want to see for the rest of the game. So, the way you have it set up, do you see any drawbacks to it?
No, because, again, I leave room for that flexibility. At the end of the day, it's helped me to train my eyes now to call the play, now look at the defense to see what the defense is doing. Trust what we've coached the offense to do, but now let's see what the defense is doing. Mm-hmm. Now, with that, I'm able now to exploit things beyond the script now. And that's what I basically mean when I say call what you see. If there's a blatant, receiver, if we're 3-by-1 and they're not covering the number 3 or the number 2 receiver, now we can get into something that might not be on the script. Maybe they showed on film all week that, they covered this guy, but for whatever particular reason now, we might be running the ball really well and they want to get that extra apex guy in the box to support the run. Now we're able to shoot it on out there. So relying on the script, but not so much married to the script that you don't want to get off it for the sake of I did the script. Yeah. Because again, as I kept saying, you can always come back to the script. Yeah. You get to a point in the game to where you might get some explosive plays and your team on offense, defense, or special teams has momentum running, and you get to a change of possession, and now you want to go with a change of possession play, and you get a touchdown off of that. Now, you've had momentum now for about 7 minutes. Now things kind of calm themselves back down. Get back to the script. And you might have left the script at play 5 before, you got rolling, but now you pick back up and we just let the guys know, coaches, we're back on script. Yep. Play 7.
What do you find yourself doing in an overtime game? Is it's just kind of taking the full picture, everything, or do you have a philosophy for taking that into OT?
Philosophies for taking it into the OT is the same exact philosophy we use into taking it into the second half. We just will consider that to throw what's worked in the first half, what's worked in the second half. Let's marry it. We know we're going from, the rules have changed, the dynamics have changed, but that gives us a baseline starting point to be able to run that play. Yeah. Now, what I have done with teams that like this particular team that we just had was a very experienced team. We scripted plays for overtime. So they knew overtime, and actually the last game of the season, we went into overtime. It was nothing new there was no anxiety. They knew what the first couple calls were going to be. So with that, it's about, putting them in the best situation to be able to make plays to win the game.
I love the way you use the term anxiety because, anxiety is always there as a play caller, but it reaches a whole nother level when you hit the overtime period.
Right.
We found ourselves in 2 overtime games this past year, and I wish I would have had an overtime script.
Right.
I was talking to a college offensive coordinator up here in Michigan. He says that first play he's going to take a shot to the end zone because you're still going to use the other 3. So it's almost a free play. So get your best player in one-on-one and try and go at them. I think there's definitely value in having an overtime script set up. So that's
and directly to your point now, if your team knows when we get into overtime, this is going to be play 1, they're going to go out and listen. When they get there, you'll see a different body language. You'll see the conversation with everybody. They'll tell, we know what's coming. Let's block it up. Let's get it. There'll be a different body language and just a whole different dynamics.
Right. And you have to practice that. You have to have an overtime period to practice it. So they roll into that and they're prepared. Hey, so I was wondering this too, in a perfect world, wouldn't you like to have, a good chunk of that script going out to practice on Monday? So those players got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday to run through a bunch of it. And then you can kind of add to it as the week goes, or are you against that type of idea?
Well, for us, there's a great portion of our offense that once we install, we tell our guys it's going every week.
Yeah.
So, what they would have to, pay extra attention to would be the new plays that we will install. We'll never go into the week and install 15 new plays. It might be a tweak to this, a tag to this, and then maybe 1 or 2 additions in certain situations that they'll know. But the stuff that we're running is the stuff that we run. Yeah. Just a matter of the formation we run it out of and the personnel grouping that we incorporate.
That's great stuff, Coach Morgan. I appreciate you hopping on, man. Thanks for your time. Really appreciate it.
No, thank you again. And you guys stay safe out there.
Thanks a lot.